If the thought of Donald Trump returning to the White House isn't terrifying enough, this week Trump poured out more nightmare fuel when asked about his potential picks for vice president.
Would you consider Tucker, though, that they based on the
I like Tucker a lot. I guess I would. I think I'd say I would, because he's got great common sense.
That would be former Fox host Tucker Carlson, whose common sense from his days bloviating over at Fox sounded like this.
Our leaders demand that you shut up and accept this. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax. Just like the Russia hoax, it's a conspiracy theory used to divide the country and keep a hold on power. The left becomes unhinged if you point out that American voters are being replaced by Democratic Party loyalists from other countries. It might be worth asking yourself, since it is getting pretty serious, what is this really about? Why do I hate Putin so much? Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him?
A Trump-Carlson ticket might also be a little, awkward, since we've learned this year in the final weeks of Trump's presidency in 2021, Tucker was texting about how he hated him passionately. We know that little insight into Tucker's feelings from private texts revealed during pretrial discovery in Dominion Voting Systems' massive defamation lawsuit against Fox. The network settled that suit in April to the tune of $787.5 million. Carlson was unceremoniously canned by Fox less than a week later, without much explanation from Tucker or Fox. A new book by journalist Brian Stelter digs into the circumstances of Carlson's firing and much more about Fox, including the network's role in radicalizing its viewers, promoting the big lie January 6th, and new insights about Donald Trump's indictments for efforts to overthrow the 2020 election. Just to start, in Network of Lies, Stelter writes, with or without Carlson, Fox is the black widow at the center of the web of lies that perverts American politics. And Brian Stelter joins me now. Brian, good to see you. Let's go. Let me start with Tucker. I'm going to roll back to him for a second. Yeah. A few of the texts, and you get into a lot of the texts, and here's the book. Text about this is not how white men fight, to a producer about a video of Trump supporters beating an Antifa kid on January 6th, called Sidney Powell the C word, to an unnamed staffer saying, I hope she's punished, referred to Sidney Powell as the C word, to Brett Baer saying, I mean it, texted a producer, Sidney Powell's lying, effing B word, called an unnamed Fox executive a C word. Was his firing mainly because of his grossness toward other people, or was it, I don't know, go into Hungry without authorization and other things you reveal? Right.
Well, Joy, I'm a longtime viewer, first-time guest. It's great to be on with you. I think you just named 3 or 4 of the many reasons. I think there's a list of 10 or even 20 reasons why Carlson was eventually canned. I devote many chapters of the book to this because I think it is a mystery. And Carlson's been out there promoting conspiracy theories about why he was fired, blaming Dominion for it, when there's just no evidence for that and lots of evidence against it. I think the reality is this was a bad breakup. This was like, a relationship that goes sour when one side has 20 reasons to dump the other side. The other side doesn't see it coming, but this was building for a long time. Lachlan and Rupert Murdoch decided it just wasn't worth it anymore. As one source said to me, his arrogance destroyed him. Tucker's arrogance destroyed him. One producer on the show said to me, we were burning too bright. We knew it wasn't going to last, and it didn't.
Talk about a little bit, Fox, is sort of the inside that you get into about how they think, about why they wanted to put people like Sidney Powell on, why they wanted to put on the January 6th stuff and the sort of outrageous lies that they wound up getting sued for.
I think it was a self-preservation instinct, right? Wanting to believe the lies, wanting to give hope, in this case, false hope, to millions of viewers. And it was driven largely by profits and ratings, a desire to keep the audience hooked at all cost. There's examples you see in these Dominion filings, which I had to write this book because there were so many details in the Dominion papers that it demanded someone write the book. You have examples of these producers and these hosts obsessed over the minute-by-minute ratings. What they notice is when we talk about voting irregularities, voter fraud, the ratings tick up. Now, look, I was at CNN nearly a decade. I didn't study the minute-by-minute ratings to figure out which of my guests were the best and which of the guests were the worst. That is next-level engineering to keep the audience addicted. And ultimately, that is what drove so many of these falsehoods.
You talk about the sort of black widow at the heart of our democracy. Lachlan Murdoch versus Rupert Murdoch. Is there any difference? Is there any directional change? Or does this just get worse?
Rupert is much more of a newspaper man. He actually believes he's a journalist at heart, and he detests Donald Trump. As a Murdoch family friend said to me, he can't believe we're going to end up with Trump as the nominee again. But then again, he doesn't seem to be doing much to try to stop it either. Lachlan Murdoch cares a lot less about politics. I'm told he personally is not a fan of Trump. He basically holds his nose, like a lot of Republican Party establishment types. But again, he's not doing anything to stop the so-called Trump train. Lachlan cares a lot more about campaign ad spending at his stations than he cares about polling and things like that. So ultimately, you're not going to see Lachlan or Rupert do anything really to stop this coronation of Trump, even though, by the way, Trump complains about Fox all the time. He says Fox is out to get him, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah. Let me play a little bit of a montage about the way that Fox sounds now post-Tucker. Take a look.
What does that leave you with? It leaves you with you need to make war to bring peace, because you have a side that cannot change, because then that means an admission that their beliefs have been corrupt all the time. So in a way, you have to force them to surrender.
Or we could make love, not war.
I tried that once.
Or we have an election.
I had to go to a doctor.
Right. Election. Yeah.
No, elections don't work. We know that. We know they don't work.
I want to say something about Arab Americans and about the Muslim world. We, when I say we, I mean the West and Western technology, have created the Middle East. We made them rich. We got that oil out of the ground. Our military protects all of these oil shipments flying around the world, making them rich. We fund their military. We respect their kings. We kill their terrorists. Okay? But we've had it. We've had it with them.
So that's Jesse Waters. That was first Greg Gutfeld and then Jesse Waters. What did you learn in doing the research for this book? Is it a bottom-up thing? Is this the audience craves this and so Fox serves it? Or are they engineering this kind of sort of necrophilic attitude toward American culture and divisiveness? Are they engineering it, or are they just taking in what their audience wants?
In the Roger Ailes era, it was top down. But now, as you said, it is bottom up. It is now driven by the audience. The audience is in charge, which is a scary prospect sometimes, even though I love our viewers right now, Joy. I think I agree with your banner a moment ago. Jesse Waters has taken over as the Fox primetime extremist. They think they are, quote, respecting the audience. And that's the quote that comes up time and time again in the treasure trove of emails from 2020. They think they're respecting the audience by giving the audience what they want. But that's actually disrespectful. And you know what? It's hurt the GOP. Look at what happened in the off-year elections on Tuesday. I would argue that Fox is actually sometimes hurting the Republican Party, that it thinks it's helping, and that's an interesting dynamic going into 2024.
Absolutely. The book, here it is, Network of Lies, the epic story of Fox News. Donald Trump, we love books, so we're going to sell it. We're going to sell it and held it up here. Please, everyone, read it. Brian Stelter, you're one of the best out there doing the thing. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
And coming up,